Few brands are as deeply woven into the fabric of American agriculture as John Deere, with its unmistakable green and yellow machines. But today, John Deere is in the spotlight for a different reason. Hundreds of U.S. employees are being laid off, and some manufacturing is shifting to Mexico. This decision has sent shockwaves through towns that depend on John Deere for steady jobs and economic security. Former President Donald Trump has jumped into the conversation, vowing to impose steep tariffs if the company moves jobs out of the country. This isn't just about one company. It's a story about American jobs, corporate choices, and the direction of U.S. manufacturing. For countless families, John Deere is more than a brand. It's a symbol of American heritage. When a company so rooted in the heartland cuts domestic jobs, it forces tough conversations about loyalty and values. In Iowa and Illinois, workers feel abandoned, watching their futures grow uncertain as the company expands abroad. The debate is heated. Are these smart business decisions, or is John Deere turning its back on the communities that made it strong? Trump's threats have only fueled the controversy, turning this into a headline-grabbing national issue. At the heart of it all is a struggle between corporate strategy and the livelihoods of American workers. This story matters to anyone invested in the future of American industry. The decisions John Deere makes today could have lasting effects on the future of manufacturing in the United States. John Deere isn't just another company. It's the world's largest maker of farm equipment and a pillar of rural America. Its machines are essential for farmers, and its factories provide thousands of good jobs, especially in the Midwest. For generations, owning a John Deere tractor has been a symbol of pride and success. When farmers stop buying new equipment, it signals trouble for the entire agricultural economy. John Deere's sales are a barometer for the health of American farming. The company's impact goes beyond the fields. Its jobs support families in small towns across Iowa and Illinois. When John Deere struggles, entire communities feel the pain. That's why news of layoffs and moving production abroad hits so hard. People see John Deere as an American institution, built on hard work and innovation. The decision to shift jobs overseas challenges the idea of what an American company should be. It's not just business. It's personal for the workers and towns that have supported John Deere for generations. The company's choices now test its loyalty to its roots. John Deere's recent layoffs have devastated its American workforce, especially in the Midwest. Over 2,000 jobs have been cut in Iowa and Illinois in 2024 alone. In Waterloo, Iowa, home to one of Deere's largest plants, over 1,700 jobs have vanished, shaking the community to its core. Plants in Ottawa and other towns have also seen layoffs and temporary shutdowns. These aren't just numbers, they're families losing stability, and towns losing their economic backbone. Many workers spent decades at John Deere, expecting lifelong careers. Now, they face an uncertain future, with few comparable jobs available. The United Auto Workers Union, which fought for better contracts just a few years ago, is now battling to protect its members from job loss. Local businesses suffer, property values drop, and the spirit of these towns is tested. The ripple effect of these layoffs is felt far beyond the factory gates. For many, the loss is more than financial. It's a blow to their identity and community pride. The crisis highlights how deeply a single company can shape the fate of entire regions. When John Deere cuts back, the heartland feels it. Why is John Deere cutting jobs? The answer lies in a struggling farm economy. After a few boom years, crop prices for corn, soybeans, and wheat have dropped sharply since their 2022 peak. Farmers now have less money and are delaying big purchases like tractors and combines. When farmers stop buying, John Deere's sales plummet, forcing the company to scale back production and lay off workers. The U.S. Department of Agriculture projects a steep decline in farm income for 2024. That means less spending on new equipment, bad news for John Deere's factories. The company says these layoffs are necessary to match output with demand and avoid costly inventory buildup. It's a chain reaction. Lower crop prices lead to lower farm income, which leads to fewer equipment sales and ultimately, job cuts. John Deere argues these tough decisions are needed for long-term survival. But for workers, the business logic offers little comfort. The downturn exposes how vulnerable entire communities are to swings in the global farm economy. Even a company as big as John Deere isn't immune to these forces. The layoffs are a stark reminder of how quickly fortunes can change in agriculture. For many, it's a perfect storm with no easy answers. The controversy deepens when you look at John Deere's recent profits and executive pay. In 2022, the company posted record profits over $10 billion. But as the farm economy cooled, profits dropped and layoffs followed. What angers many is that, even as jobs disappeared, CEO John May received a $26.7 million compensation package in 2023. Workers and unions see this as a glaring disconnect: massive rewards at the top, pink slips on the factory floor. The United Auto Workers call it corporate greed, arguing that the company's success was built on the backs of workers now facing uncertainty. John Deere defends executive pay as necessary for attracting talent, but that argument rings hollow for laid-off employees. The contrast between CEO pay and worker layoffs has fueled public outrage and damaged the company's reputation. It's a tale of two fortunes, one soaring, one sinking. Adding fuel to the fire, John Deere is moving some manufacturing to Mexico. Production of equipment cabs will shift from Waterloo, Iowa, to a new plant in Mexico by 2026, costing more American jobs. The company claims this is a long-term strategy not directly tied to recent layoffs, but workers aren't convinced. Critics see it as prioritizing cheaper labor over loyal American employees. For many, it's a symbol of globalization's cost, and a betrayal by a legendary American brand. The layoffs and Mexico move have ignited a political firestorm. Former President Trump threatened a 200% tariff on John Deere products made in Mexico if he's re-elected. Such a tariff would make it nearly impossible for Deere to sell those products in the U.S., its biggest market. Trump's message, keep jobs in America or pay the price. The issue has become a national debate over trade, jobs, and corporate loyalty. John Deere insists most of its U.S. sales still come from American-made equipment, over 75% by their count. Only a small fraction is made in Mexico, the company says. But in politics, perception often outweighs facts. The image of jobs moving south is powerful and hard to shake. John Deere now faces not just economic challenges, but political ones that could reshape its future. The company must navigate public anger, union pressure, and the threat of government action. The stakes are high, not just for John Deere, but for the future of American manufacturing. The outcome could set a precedent for how U.S. companies balance global strategy with national loyalty. John Deere's strategy is a balancing act, cutting costs and expanding globally while trying to maintain its American roots. The company says these tough choices are needed to survive a weak farm economy and compete worldwide. But the layoffs and Mexico move have shaken trust among workers and communities. The big question: can American companies stay competitive globally without abandoning their home base? John Deere's next moves will be watched closely as a test for U.S. manufacturing. The company's future, and that of the heartland, depends on how it rebuilds trust and adapts to a changing world. As long as America needs food, it will need the machines to produce it. The decisions made today will shape the future of both John Deere and the communities that rely on it.